Hello everyone, I am Nikita. Let's start today a new topic, Unit 2 Control and Coordination from IB 4. In today's session, we will going to discuss stimulus, neuron structure and function, response to stimulus and sensory receptor. So let's begin with our new topic, control and coordination, stimulus. So what is a stimulus? Stimulus is any detectable change. It is any detectable change in the internal and external environment that cause a response that cause a response is an organism. So stimulus is any kind of a change in environment, either external, either internal, upon which body reacts. So it may be, it can be physical, chemical, and biological. For example, light. So, for light is a stimulus. Pupil constrict in bright light. Let's start with the stimulus, the trigger of a response, how a response generated by a body. So stimulus is a change in the environment that cause a response. Its type is external. External, it light, sound, temperature. Internal is hormonal change, hunger. So it's an internal change. Then example, so touching a hot pan cause withdrawal of muscle. So, through a image, understand what is sensory neuron, relay neuron, motor neuron. First is brain. So, we know brain is made up of smallest structural functional unit of nerve, or you can say it's neuron. So, neuron is the building block of the brain, and brain, it's a type of neuron, type 1, type 2, type 3. The kind of a neuron which receives something, that is sensory neuron, or which sends something, some stimulus. The kind of neuron which transfer and conduct the information from sensory to motor, that is relay neuron, or we can say interneuron. Basically, it links the sensory and the motor neuron. Motor neuron is a kind of a neuron which sends signal to the effector muscle. Here the effector is hand. Receptor is the skin. So on our skin, we have so many of receptors like thermoreceptor, nociceptor. So these receptors basically sense any kind of stimulus and generate a effect. Now, let's do some question. Which of the following is an internal stimulus? So, answer is hunger. Let's do the smallest building block of the brain, neuron, the messenger, which carries some message in the form of electrical and maybe chemical. So basically, neuron are specialized cells that transmit nerve impulse. It have three types: sensory neuron, motor neuron, interneuron, or we can say relay neuron. Sensory neuron is detects stimulus, it detects any kind of external change. Motor neuron act as a effector. Interneuron link sensory and motor neuron. So let's do some examples. Skin detect heat via sensory neuron. Like it's a structure of the neuron and nerve single. So basically a neuron is the large. longest cell and branched cell of body. So it's basically consists of dendrite, the branches structure released from the main body called cell body. Cell body contains nucleus, help in division, growth, etc. And the extension of cell body into thin cylindrical structure, that structure called axon. Axon is further covered by some cells, and these cells is myelin sheath, this covering, and the cells which generate these myelin sheath called swan cells. So swan cells basically makes myelin sheath. On the other hand, axon ending, and the axon ending called axon terminal. This is the overall structure of a neuron. Let's do its type. The structure of the sensory neuron is look like that. Relay neuron and the motor neuron. How these neuron are work. So sensory neuron transmit information from receptor to central nervous system, whereas relay neurons send and link sensory and motor. So it's send transmit the information from central nervous system within central nervous system. And motor neuron obviously it sends the command signals from central nervous system to the effector muscle or effector. Which neuron carries signal from receptors to central nervous system? So, which kind of neuron help to send the information to central nervous system? It's a sensory neuron. Now come on the structure. Let's discuss each part of the neuron. We see the dendrite. Dendrite help in receiving signal. Cell body contains nucleus. Axons send signal away from the dendrites. Myelin sheath speed the transmission. Function, what function neuron performs? So basically it conduct impulse between cells. Now, what is the function of the myelin sheath? So myelin sheath basically speed up impulse transmission. Let's do how a response happens. So N step, stimulus detected by the receptors, then impulse sent via sensory neuron or afferent neuron. Central nervous system process any kind of stimulus or information. Motor neurons send response and effective act. So if light sends by the eye sends these information to the brain and eye blink. Let's look. Stimulus is an apple. It's received by the receptor present on the retina and it is sent to the central nervous system. Central nervous system make decision and sends back through motor neuron and effect is come and generated. But this for reflex action. Let's study what is reflex action before which is the correct order of reflex arc. So the correct order, first stimulus come, receptor receives signals, sends to central nervous system and effect generated. So it's P. Sensory receptors, specialized detectors. So sensory receptors are specialized kind of a neuron which detect any change. So its type is photoreceptors present on the eye retina, mechanoreceptors present on skin, chemoreceptors nose and tongue, thermoreceptor present on the skin. Let's see how these receptors present. For vision, these cells present in eye and these cells called rod and cone shape. Let's do for hearing. Hearing, these receptor present in the ear. Smell. For smell, it present nose epithelium. Taste. present in tongue. For touch, present on skin. Which sensory receptor detects sound? So, which kind of sensory receptors receive sound? Think. So, it's mechanoreceptor. Let's do reflex action, quick survival response. So, reflex action are fast, automatic, protective action. So, if I see a lion, I quickly run away from lion. So, it's my reflex action. Let's do example knee jerk, withdrawal from heat, importance to avoid harm, fast response. It is fast, automatic, protective, signal response generated like stimulus comes, received by sensory neuron, sends to spinal cord, bypass the brain, spinal cord, then spinal cord make decision, send back through motor neuron, and effect is generated. Stimulus receptors, efferent neuron, also called sensory neuron, spinal cord make decision. So efferent neuron, also called motor neuron, and effector, then response is generated. Why are reflexes faster than normal response? Because bypass the brain. Effector. So which are the organism effector? So it's basically muscle or it may be a gland. So effector act on signals. Example, muscle contracts, gland secrete hormone such as salivary gland activate on smell. So if we smell something sweet and something like foodie odor, very pleasant, so our salivary glands automatically activate, release saliva. Which of these is an effector? So effector is muscle. Importance of coordination. What is the why we need coordination in our body? For survival, for balancing, homeostasis, for adaptation. Disorder affect balance, sense, movement. What is the nervous system function? So nervous system helps in coordinate activity. This is end for today class. Meet you in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.